Odin, the one-eyed seeker of wisdom and runes. Part 1. The Allfather. How many faces can one god wear? Odin, the Allfather, stands as a multifaceted deity within the Norse pantheon, embodying a diverse array of roles and characteristics that defy simple categorization. He is simultaneously a god of war and poetry, of wisdom and death, of magic and kingship. This inherent complexity is a defining feature of his mythos, allowing him to be perceived in myriad ways by those who sought to understand his influence. His many names, such as Woden, Wotan, and Odin, reflect the widespread reverence he received across Germanic cultures, each name perhaps emphasizing a particular aspect of his vast domain. The concept of Odin having many faces goes beyond his various epithets and functions. It speaks to his nature as a shapeshifter, a god capable of assuming different forms to achieve his aims. This ability underscores his cunning and his relentless pursuit of knowledge, often requiring him to move unrecognized among mortals and even other gods. Such transformations are not mere tricks. They are integral to his quest for wisdom, enabling him to gather information and manipulate events from various perspectives, always working towards a greater understanding of the cosmos. As the leader of the Aesir, Odin presides over Valhalla, the hall where chosen warriors feast and await Ragnarok. This role firmly establishes him as a patron of battle and a divine general. Yet this martial aspect is tempered by his deep connection to poetry and prophecy. He inspires skalds and seers, granting them the gift of verse and glimpses into the future. This dual nature of warrior and poet highlights the Norse appreciation for both physical prowess and intellectual artistry, both seen as vital components of a heroic existence. His association with death is also prominent, not merely as a bringer of war but as a psychopomp, guiding the souls of the fallen. The Valkyries, his handmaidens, select the brave from battlefields to join him in Valhalla, a testament to his authority over the transition from life to the afterlife. This role intertwines with his kingship, as he is seen as the ultimate sovereign, ruling not only over the living, but also having a significant influence over the destiny of those who have passed on, preparing them for the ultimate confrontation. Odin's ever-present ravens, Hugin, thought, and Munin, memory, further illustrate his expansive reach and his insatiable desire for information. These birds fly across the 9 worlds, returning to whisper everything they observe into his ear, making him the most informed of all the gods. They are extensions of his own mind, gathering intelligence crucial for his strategic planning and his ongoing quest to understand the mysteries of existence, reflecting his deep intellectual curiosity. The various faces Odin wears are not contradictory, but rather complementary aspects of a single, powerful divine entity. Each role contributes to his overall persona as a supreme being who balances immense power with profound wisdom, active engagement with fate, and a relentless drive for knowledge. His complexity makes him a fascinating figure, representing the intricate balance of forces that govern the Norse cosmology, forever seeking, forever learning, forever leading, and forever evolving through his many guises. Ultimately, Odin's capacity to wear many faces symbolizes the dynamic and often paradoxical nature of existence itself. He embodies the tension between creation and destruction, order and chaos, wisdom and raw power. He is a god who is always in motion, always seeking, never static, reflecting the constant flux of the world he oversees. This constant evolution and his ability to adapt his form and function ensure his enduring relevance and his central position in Norse mythology. Part 2. The Price of Knowledge. Would you trade an eye for wisdom? Odin's most iconic act of sacrifice, the removal of his own eye in exchange for a draught from Mimir's well, serves as a powerful testament to his unyielding pursuit of wisdom. This narrative underscores a fundamental theme in Norse mythology, that true knowledge often comes at a significant personal cost. The well, guarded by the wise Mimir, contained the waters of all knowledge and understanding, a prize so invaluable that Odin was willing to part with a part of himself to possess it. The imagery of the missing eye is particularly potent. An eye represents perception, sight, and the ability to view the world. By surrendering one, Odin symbolically sacrifices a portion of his physical perception to gain a deeper, more profound insight into the mysteries of the cosmos. It is a trade of superficial sight for profound understanding, a literal embodiment of the phrase, seeing the bigger picture with an inner vision rather than merely with external organs. This sacrifice distinguishes Odin from other deities who might seek power or glory through conquest. His primary motivation is intellectual and spiritual enlightenment, a desire to comprehend the fundamental truths of the universe, including the intertwined threads of past, present, and future. The wisdom gained from Mimir's well allows him to foresee much of what is to come, including the eventual fate of the gods at Ragnarok, a heavy burden to bear. The act also highlights Odin's unique brand of leadership. Unlike a king who might demand knowledge through force, Odin demonstrates humility and a willingness to undergo personal suffering for the benefit of all, even if that benefit is primarily his own enlightenment that then serves his strategic oversight of the worlds. His leadership is not merely about wielding power, but about possessing the foresight and understanding necessary to guide his people and indeed the very cosmos. The price of knowledge for Odin is not just the physical loss of his eye, but also the solitude that often accompanies such profound insight. To see things others cannot, to understand the impending doom, isolates him to some extent, making his burden all the more poignant. Yet he carries this burden with an unwavering resolve, never faltering in his duties as Allfather, always striving to prepare for the inevitable future he has glimpsed. This narrative resonates deeply, posing the existential question of what one would be willing to sacrifice for ultimate understanding. It suggests that superficial desires and physical comforts are secondary to the quest for truth and wisdom. Odin's decision to trade an eye for knowledge is not presented as a moment of weakness, but as a defining act of strength and immense purpose, elevating him above many other mythological figures who might shy away from such a demanding cost. His singular focus on accumulating wisdom, even through painful sacrifice, cements his role as the archetypal seeker. The eye left in Mimir's well serves as a constant reminder of this ultimate price and his commitment to the arduous path of enlightenment. It transforms him from merely a powerful god into a deeply philosophical figure, forever marked by his quest for the profound truths that govern existence. His pursuit of knowledge is an ongoing journey, shaping his character and destiny. Part 3. Hanging on the Tree. What did Odin see in the runes? Odin's self-sacrifice on Yggdrasil, the World Tree, represents another pivotal moment in his relentless pursuit of knowledge, particularly his acquisition of the runes. For 9 days and 9 nights he hung wounded, without food or drink, impaled by his own spear, a willing offering to himself. This harrowing ordeal was not an act of penitence, but a calculated ritual to delve into the deepest mysteries of existence and unlock the secrets of runic magic. This self-inflicted torment underscores Odin's extreme dedication and his willingness to push beyond conventional limits to achieve his goals. The image of him hanging on the cosmic tree, the axis that connects all 9 worlds, places him at the very heart of creation, allowing him to tap into the fundamental energies and hidden wisdom of the universe. It is a shamanic journey, a descent into an altered state of consciousness to gain profound insights. Through this ordeal, Odin glimpsed the runes not merely as an alphabet, but as powerful symbols imbued with cosmic significance and magical potential. The runes were seen as the very building blocks of reality, containing within them the secrets of fate, creation, and destruction. His sacrifice granted him the understanding to interpret and manipulate these symbols, thereby gaining mastery over a potent form of magic previously unknown to gods and mortals alike. The runes provided Odin with a new dimension of foresight and control. With them, he could charm weapons, heal wounds, bind enemies, and influence the weather. More profoundly, they gave him a deeper insight into the patterns of destiny, reinforcing and expanding upon the wisdom he had gained from Mimir's well. The runes were a language through which he could read and, to some extent, shape the very fabric of existence, understanding its underlying principles. This act of self-sacrifice also solidified Odin's status as a god of magic and enchantment. He became the ultimate rune master, the one who deciphered the cryptic messages of the cosmos. His knowledge of the runes was not just intellectual, it was deeply experiential, forged in suffering and direct communion with the primordial forces embedded within Yggdrasil, making his understanding unparalleled among all beings. The imagery of the tree, life and death intertwining, emphasizes the transformative nature of his experience. He died symbolically on the tree to be reborn with a greater understanding, bridging the gap between life and death to gain wisdom. This process of spiritual death and rebirth is a common motif in shamanic traditions, aligning Odin with the archetype of the shaman who journeys to the underworld for enlightenment. The runes, once revealed to Odin, became a gift he could share with humanity, albeit with restrictions. They offered a means of communicating with the divine, of performing magic, and of understanding the hidden forces at play in the world. His sacrifice on Yggdrasil made him the conduit through which this profound knowledge flowed into the world, cementing his role as the ultimate patron of runic lore and its mysteries. Part 4. Master of Magic. How did he steal the mead of poetry? Odin's cunning and magical prowess are brilliantly showcased in the myth of how he stole the mead of poetry, a potent elixir that granted wisdom, poetic inspiration, and eloquence to anyone who drank it. This tale highlights his capacity for deception, his strategic thinking, and his willingness to employ any means necessary to acquire valuable knowledge and power, further cementing his reputation as a master of both intellect and magic. The mead of poetry originated from the blood of Kvasir, a being born from the spittle of all the gods, embodying universal wisdom. After Kvasir was murdered by the dwarves Fjalar and Galar, his blood was brewed into the magical mead. This precious substance was eventually guarded by the giant Suttungr, who kept it hidden deep within a mountain, a formidable challenge for even a god of Odin's stature to overcome through conventional means. Recognizing the immense value of the mead, Odin devised an elaborate plan. He first worked for Balgi, Suttungr's brother, under the guise of an ordinary farmhand named Bolvirkr. Through a series of cunning manipulations and a promise to exchange his labor for a taste of the mead, Odin gained Baugi's trust and cooperation, setting the stage for the next phase of his intricate scheme. With Baugi's help, Odin attempted to drill a hole into the mountain where the mead was stored. When the initial attempts failed, Odin used his magical ring Draupnir to transform into a serpent. He then slithered through the tiny hole Baugi finally managed to bore, entering the hidden chamber where Suttungur's daughter, Gunnlod, guarded the precious brew. This transformation showcases his mastery of shape-shifting magic. Inside the mountain, Odin spent 3 nights with Gunnlod, charming her and convincing her to grant him 3 sips of the mead. However, Odin, ever the trickster, drained all 3 vats of the elixir in those 3 sips, acquiring the entirety of the mead of poetry for himself. This act demonstrates his persuasive ability and his talent for maximizing an opportunity, even when seemingly constrained by limits. Having secured the mead, Odin transformed himself into a magnificent eagle and flew swiftly back to Asgard, with Suttungur in hot pursuit, also in the form of an eagle. The chase was intense, but Odin successfully reached the realm of the gods, where he regurgitated the mead into vats, sharing a portion with the Aesir and with worthy poets among humanity. This feat not only demonstrates Odin's magical abilities, shape-shifting, deception, and strategic thinking, but also his profound dedication to the enrichment of the gods and the world with wisdom and inspiration. The mead of poetry became a symbol of divine inspiration, and Odin, through his clever theft, solidified his role as the patron of poetry, eloquence, and intellectual brilliance, a true master of arcane arts. Part 5. War and Kingship. Why do rulers still look to Odin? Odin's role as a god of war and kingship is deeply ingrained in the historical and mythological consciousness of Germanic peoples, and his influence has subtly persisted even in secularized forms for centuries. He represents the ideal of a strategic leader, a fierce warrior, and a wise sovereign, qualities that have always been admired and sought after by those in positions of power. His connection to victory and dominion makes him a powerful archetype for rulers. As a battle god, Odin is not simply a deity of brute force, but of cunning tactics and psychological warfare. He often influences the outcome of battles, inspiring his chosen warriors to valor while sowing discord and fear among their enemies. Rulers historically invoked Odin for success in warfare, believing his favor was crucial for achieving victory and maintaining their reign against challengers. His wisdom, gained through immense sacrifice, was seen as essential for successful military campaigns. His leadership of the Wild Hunt, a spectral procession through the winter skies, further reinforces his association with power and divine authority. This phenomenon, though often feared, also signifies his mastery over the forces of nature and the spirit world, qualities that lend an aura of ultimate control to his kingship. A ruler's ability to command and inspire awe, much like Odin, was seen as a mark of legitimate power. The very concept of kingship in many Germanic societies was tied to divine right, with rulers often tracing their lineage back to Odin himself, solidifying their legitimacy. To be descended from Odin was to possess a sacred mandate to rule, bestowing upon them a unique connection to the divine source of power and wisdom. This divine lineage provided a strong foundation for their authority and commanded respect from their subjects. Odin's unwavering pursuit of knowledge, even at great personal cost, makes him a model for sagacious governance. A wise ruler, like Odin, understands that true leadership requires not only strength, but also foresight, strategic planning, and a deep understanding of the world and its intricate workings. His sacrifices for wisdom underscore the idea that a good leader must be willing to make difficult choices for the greater good, even if those choices are personally taxing. Moreover, Odin's patronage of poetry and eloquence connects him to the power of rhetoric and persuasive speech, vital tools for any effective ruler. The ability to inspire, to articulate a vision, and to rally people through words is a form of power that complements military might. Rulers who cultivated the arts and intellectual pursuits could see themselves as mirroring Odin's multifaceted nature, balancing strength with culture. Even in modern contexts, the archetypal image of a wise, powerful, and sometimes fearsome leader with a strategic mind resonates. While no longer worshipped as a deity, the qualities Odin embodies, cunning, resilience, a thirst for knowledge, and the ability to command respect, remain aspirational for those who seek to lead, whether in politics, business, or other spheres of influence, making him an enduring symbol of leadership. Part 6. Wolves and Ravens. Who whispers in the Allfather's ear? Odin is rarely seen alone, always accompanied by his loyal animal companions. The two ravens, Hugin, thought, and Munin, memory, and the two wolves, greedy, and Freki, voracious. These creatures are not mere pets. They are extensions of Odin's own being, embodying his core characteristics and serving as vital agents in his relentless pursuit of knowledge and his role as the watchful Allfather. They are his eyes and ears across the cosmos. The ravens, Hugin and Munin, are perhaps the most iconic of Odin's companions. Every morning, they fly out across all 9 worlds, observing everything that transpires and listening to every utterance. By evening, they return to Valhalla, perching on Odin's shoulders and whispering all they have seen and heard into his ears. This constant flow of information makes Odin the most informed of all the gods, giving him unparalleled insight into the state of the cosmos and the machinations of his enemies. Hugin and Munin symbolize the power of thought and memory, essential components of Odin's wisdom. They represent his mental faculties externalized, his ability to gather, process, and retain vast amounts of information. Their daily flights highlight his insatiable curiosity and his need for comprehensive understanding, allowing him to anticipate events and plan accordingly, particularly with the looming threat of Ragnarok. The wolves, Geri and Freki, symbolize Odin's more primal martial aspects. As predators, they embody the ferocity and strength necessary for a god of war. In Valhalla, Odin feeds them all the meat from his table, as he himself consumes only wine, reinforcing his association with sacrifice and the transfer of sustenance to his loyal companions. This act signifies the deep bond between Odin and his wolf companions. Geri and Freki also represent loyalty and unwavering companionship. They are always by Odin's side, ready to protect and serve. Their presence underscores his connection to the wild and untamed aspects of nature, reflecting a raw, untamed power that complements his intellectual pursuits. They are the embodiment of his warrior spirit, standing as guardians and fierce allies in any conflict. Together, these animal companions paint a more complete picture of Odin. The ravens represent his intellect, his quest for knowledge, and his strategic mind constantly gathering information. The wolves represent his strength, his ferocity, and his unwavering presence, providing protection and embodying his warlike nature. They are a powerful synthesis of mind and might, reflecting Odin's multifaceted persona. Their presence also reinforces the idea of Odin's ubiquitous influence. Through his animal companions, he is simultaneously present everywhere and nowhere, observing, learning, and influencing events from afar. They are the conduits through which he interacts with the broader world, extending his senses and his will across the vastness of the 9 realms, ensuring nothing escapes his watchful gaze or his calculating mind. Part 7. Doom Foretold. How does a god live knowing his death? Odin, despite his immense power and wisdom, carries the heavy burden of foreknowledge, specifically the certainty of his own death and the destruction of the cosmos at Ragnarok. This prescience, gained through his sacrifices at Mimir's well and on Yggdrasil, profoundly shapes his actions and defines his existence. It is a unique and poignant aspect of his character, showcasing a god who lives with the full awareness of his ultimate demise. Knowing the inevitable end does not lead Odin to despair or inaction. Instead, it fuels his relentless preparation. Every decision, every quest for knowledge, every warrior brought to Valhalla is part of his grand strategy to gather forces and gain insights that might, if not prevent, then at least mitigate the devastation of Ragnarok. He is not fighting against fate, but preparing to meet it with as much strength and wisdom as possible. His role as the leader of the Einherjar, the chosen warriors feasting in Valhalla, is a direct consequence of this foreknowledge. He gathers the bravest of the fallen, training them daily for the final battle against the forces of chaos. This meticulous preparation highlights his strategic mind and his unwavering commitment to his people and the cosmic order, even when confronted with a seemingly insurmountable doom. The constant quest for wisdom, epitomized by his sacrifices for the runes and the mead of poetry, is also driven by this awareness. Odin seeks every possible advantage, every scrap of knowledge that might offer a glimmer of hope or a deeper understanding of the forces at play. His insatiable thirst for information is not just for power, but for survival and for the preservation of what he holds dear. Odin's life is a testament to purposeful existence in the face of inevitable destruction. He embodies the heroic ideal of confronting fate head-on, not with resignation, but with courage, wisdom, and active engagement. His foreknowledge adds a tragic depth to his character, transforming him from a mere deity into a figure grappling with profound existential questions. This awareness of his impending death at the jaws of the monstrous wolf Fenrir during the final cataclysm does not diminish his authority or his resolve. On the contrary, it imbues his leadership with a sense of urgency and a profound sense of duty. He is a king who knows his kingdom will fall, yet he continues to lead, to teach, and to prepare, inspiring his followers to face the end with bravery. Ultimately, Odin's story offers a powerful reflection on how one lives when knowing the end. It suggests that knowledge, even of impending doom, can be a catalyst for meaningful action and courageous leadership. His journey is one of continuous struggle and profound understanding, a god who lives fully and purposefully, even as the shadow of Ragnarok looms large over his every thought and deed, forever seeking,